So when I arrived, it's absolutely pea soup, but that's exactly what I wanted in terms of type of photography. After this morning, I've returned back to my favourite spot in the Yorkshire Dales and want to try and add to my project carved, which is basically black and white photography using the lovely shapes of this limestone, and trying to find some shapely trees as well to go in the background. The fog is slowly lifting. There was basically three reasons why I returned here today. One was the weather forecast, it got it right. The other two, I wanted to return to a couple of previous images I've shot, one of which is in my portfolio. I wasn't too pleased with it and I wanted to improve that. The problem I've got is finding those trees. I just can't find them. There's a wall that way, and along that wall is that tree. I just need to find that wall. I've come back here. I remember this location. There's this cluster of trees. There's a couple of trees, well, 3 trees really, which are quite interesting. The problem we've got now is total separation. But I'm going to try and make it work. As I say, there's a bit of fog, so it's creating a little bit of a screen between the front tree here and that background, that back tree as well. I have found some rather interesting foregrounds, so let's see what we can do with this composition. Right, okay, so I've had to just tweak that last image slightly. It wasn't quite working. I couldn't get enough separation between the foreground tree and the background tree, the larger tree. So I've literally just moved around, about 2 meters to my left-hand side. And I've now made that larger tree more of a focal point in the image. I'll show that shot now, you can see what I mean. There's just not enough separation between the foreground tree and the background tree. It's not standing out enough for me. So again, I found some nice foreground interest. Strong diagonals moving in, bottom right up to the middle left, then kicks you back out to the trees as well. I prefer this image. I've shot f14 aperture to get some nice sharpness as well. The fog is still hanging around, thankfully. I must try and find that other tree. Definitely a wall. Anyway, I'll show this image in the meantime. Now that's a fine specimen of a tree. I'm sure I've shown you that before in my previous videos. There must be a reason why I haven't photographed it, and the reason being, at this moment in time, what I'm thinking is I cannot find a suitable foreground for it. The limestone around here gets a bit messy. There's a lot of ferns and foliage growing in between the grikes. It's too jagged as well. I always prefer a more smoother, circular, rounded limestone, because I just think it adds to the overall calmness of it. It's a shame, a real shame. Now, for a moment, the mist or fog lifted, and I thought, oh, that's typical, isn't it? But the benefit of that is it revealed that tree I'm after and the wall. The wall is behind me, so I'm going to head there now. And the good thing is that the mist has now come back, so I might be in for a bit of luck. Wall, tree. Now the fog has lifted again. I'm hoping it will be momentary. It will come back. Let's go and have a look anyway. You've got to admit that's a fine looking tree. The problem I've got now is that the fog doesn't seem to be heading back in any rush, and that could have an influence on my next shot. There's some lovely limestone just in this small vicinity here, exactly the type of limestone, or at least its shapes that I'm after. Some nice curving lines, but I need a bit of fog. The wall is in the composition. Ideally, I say ideally, I might not have a choice, but ideally I would like to have that out of the image, but I think I'm yeah, wishing for too much. It's about 5 meters away, only from the wall edge. So I'm just gonna look around, see what the best position is. Oh, is that a bit of fog heading my way now? Come on. I'll be honest with you, it's harder than what I envisaged, to be honest. I've looked around. There's quite a lot of elements I want to include in the image. Some nice curving lines of the limestone, which also head towards the focal point, which is the tree, of course. And also, another element I need to take into account is trying to get some separation between the top of the wall and the bottom of the lower branch. I'm not going to fully take the, or be able to take the wall out, by the way. I have found a composition, again using the shapes. I'll show that in a moment. The mist or fog has not come back, and it's not looking like it will come back. Ideally, the shot would probably work better. I was going to say that actually. I was going to say usually the mist helps, but in this shot there's no real background anywhere, because the background is sky. By the way, if you do want to look online on my website, you'll see my project called Carved, basically black and white photography. Here, I say here, the brief was anywhere in the Yorkshire Dales, but I always seem to come back here, and it's always good to obviously come back to same locations and look and find something different. So yeah, on the project's Carved, and I'll be adding to that as time progresses. The fog is coming back again. It's not thick enough probably to influence the image, but I'm going to find a way. I changed my composition, by the way, last minute. The one I set up for the last time you saw me, it didn't quite work. So I think this image is a bit more dramatic. It's like a knife curving around, taking you into the image, and again about a third way into the frame it just sweeps around. So yeah, let me just click away and get the best shot as possible whilst this mist is here. So I'm still working this scene. I think this is going to be my final effort today. Basically what I've done, I've moved further right and slightly back away from the tree, trying to get as much impact of the fogging as possible. It's a very similar composition. In fact, it might be the same composition, albeit a few tweaks to the image, which is currently, as I speak now, in my portfolio. I might swap them to take a look. So the rains have come, that's my cue to head off home. Good little session, never get tired of this place, there's always something. And I just love revisiting compositions, trying to improve them, and I believe I've done that today. Take a look at my project work on my website, jamesrburnsphoto.com. Okay, so until next time, keep smiling, look after yourself, bye bye for now.